All right, we're on
What up?
number 8.
Yes.
We're in week 2, you guys. Make sure you're caught up. Here we go, week 2, because we're entering into the second unit, which is promises, reflecting on promises, okay?
There it goes. And that's the quick win for the win. And I'm the pineapple. And I want you to think. I want you to think of your life. And I want you to think of all the decisions that you make on a daily basis. You know, I just want you to cycle through it. And I want you to ask yourself, what do you base a majority of your decisions or all your decisions off of, right? Is it your kids, family? Is it work financially? Is it off of insecurities and love, right? Because I've met many people where love dictates what they do on a day-to-day basis, regardless. For example, they get ready early. They do everything that they do to make themselves look good so they can feel good. And the goal for that day is to attract someone. And it sounds kind of ridiculous, you know, to some, but for a lot of individuals out there, that is the reality, you know. So many of us feel and lack that deep sense of worth, that deep sense of love that we have for ourselves, that we tend to migrate outside of this and look for it outside of us. So that's why we're transitioning into what we were spending in week 1, which was the external, and being able to become aware of the people who are in our lives and the type of energy that we allow in and the type of energy that we close ourselves off to. So we're transitioning into the foundation of what we base all of our decisions on. Because what I know is, if you have one or two promises that you will never or very seldom or rarely compromise or break, your resolve that you'll have with yourself will start as very, very small as a grain of sand, and then just build to be this indestructible resolve that nobody can break. And you know, and the result of that is your word becomes stronger than anything out there. Stronger than gold, stronger than diamonds, stronger than hate. So that is the first question. Oh,
and what's the tip? Just look to your phone.
Yes. So that is the, for day 8.
It is what promises
have you made to yourself? And I want to throw that over to Miss Quickle Quinn, for example, because a friend of ours, won't mention her name, but she had mentioned when I had asked her this maybe about a month ago, but she's never made herself like a real promise. And she couldn't even think of what that could actually be for her. And the tip is, this promise, this 1 or 2 promises that you're gonna not compromise, not break, is actually gonna be the foundation of your self-love. It's gonna be the foundation of your self-worth. So I'm begging, I'm pleading, please think very thoroughly of what it could be for you.
Yeah.
What it could be for you. And I'm gonna throw it over to Quickle Quinn, and you know,
I'll share my old promises that I didn't realize that I was making. So in the beginning, he was asking you guys to really reflect on, when you make decisions, what was it based off of? Because that's going to reveal the promise that you've been living with, whether you are aware of it or not.
Right, unconsciously or consciously.
Yes, so unconsciously in the past, my promise was to my boyfriends. Like, my commitment, my loyalty was to them. So everything that I did was to please them, even from the way that I chose to look and dress and be.
Right.
And it was to please them and kind of trade off my own identity by borrowing someone else's identity. Because when you're in love, when you're in that relationship, if you're empty, you're going to just naturally latch on.
Exactly.
So that was the promise. My promise was to my boyfriend, and my promise was to please others. That was the promise.
Right.
A lot of the, if I think of a lot of decisions, it was to be liked, it was to be loved, and it was to keep those relationships that I had.
See?
Romantic
And
wise.
I want to be able to point out two factors or two things that she just mentioned. You know, her identity was wrapped up in that. See, your promise, your vow, that's what you're going to be building and growing your self-love, your self-worth. It is going to become your identity. You see? The other thing is, when you make promises to other people and they start to wilt, when they start to become shaky and the relationship, whatever it may be, may get rocky, what are the chances that that footing or foundation stays strong?
Yes.
You see, and it's unlikely. It's unlikely.
Right? Yeah.
So,
and so I was loyal to a shaky foundation because the relationship was so rocky, and so that's why you're rocky, because if that person's rocky, you're going to be rocky.
Exactly.
You're not on your own promising, like your own promise.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's for someone else.
Right.
Yeah.
And for you guys who are, you know, have been on your journey or you're just starting, I encourage you to really, really think about what that vow could be. Because think about it. I mentioned it in the day before today. It's really similar to getting into a marriage.
Yes.
But the marriage is with yourself. You see, when we hear the words, I promise to love you to death, till death do us part,
Sickness
sickness and health, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And we enter into those vows, into that promise, into that institution, because it's supposedly supposed to be the start of your foundation as a couple, as a unit, you know, so you can grow, you know, because it.
Oh.
So here we go. So
It got cut off.
It got cut off
We're
because the heat had.
The phone was too hot. So
we
we're
were
under the shade.
vibing and putting out so much energy that the phone decided, hey, it's too hot. It's too hot.
You guys are doing too much on fire.
Exactly.
So let's just cool it down a little bit.
So it got cut off, and here we go again. Where I left off was, it is very simple. It's very, very. It's way more manageable, right? Life is, if we have two people, you know, helping out with the same goal than it is with just one. It is a lot of weight to bear to be able to do everything and figure out everything with just one person. It is simpler, and it can be easier and a lot more fulfilling doing with it with another person, doing it with a team. So that's what I was getting across. And so we're gonna throw it across to Quickle Quinn, and she's gonna get into her new promises.
Yes,
that she has made for herself. The
right?
new vows that she bases all her decisions off of.
Yes. From making a vow to other people, I am now making the vow to myself. And the vow that I made was that I was going to be my own best friend.
There it goes.
And I know that some of you may be watching and that scares you to make a vow to yourself. So how I did that was I imagined that there was two of me. You know, there's like the hurting Quinn, and then the other Quinn who's like my cheerleader. Like, come on, Quinn. It's that voice that I need to cheer me on and to keep me together, to not go down that path again of codependency and making decisions that was not building up to my peace, my happiness, and my own self-love. So that was my conscious vow that I made to myself. I'm going to be my best friend. I'm going to stick to the self-love journey. Even if I get into a relationship, I need to still uphold that vow, because I know what it's like when I don't have that vow to myself, and when I'm not making decisions based off of becoming my own best friend and practicing my self-love, like actually having a relationship with myself. And I told myself that I would never, leave her and abandon her ever again.
Exactly.
Because I realized I have been the one that's been needing me throughout this whole entire time.
Right. And I'll give you an example. She always, not always, but she would ask, what do you think? Or, how do you think? I literally tell her, hey, just be you. Just make the decision.
Oh, like if I ask you for your opinion.
Yeah.
See, and we do that. We check, we look for validation.
Check. We don't. I just constantly remind her that just do you, boo-boo. Literally, like, if there's anything that I can do to help, or if you need support in this area or whatnot, I'll be happy to do it. But when it comes to
making decisions for
that is for her, I tell her, hey, you can do that. If I can help you, get to a, how would I say, if you need clarity on certain things, we can discuss that, and then I can give you some info to help you make your decision. But as for me making the decision for you or validating your answer or whatnot, one thing that I, strive to let her know is we want to be responsible for our own lives. And I want her to be responsible for her own decisions, because yes, I am here. I'm here to help. But at the end of the day, if anything were to happen, which is unlikely, if anything were to happen, she couldn't blame me in the end.
And that's when we tend to get into blame mode. Well, you told me, you said this would be the better idea, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, it saves us. And I like how you said, like encouraging taking your own responsibility for your own decision and learning to trust yourself. So just because we're in a committed relationship together, it does not mean that we're still not making our own decisions and taking responsibility and continuing to build that stronger relationship with ourselves.
Exactly.
To really trust ourselves, because if you don't trust yourself, right, you're going to bring that into the relationship, and then it's shaky. So that is my conscious vow/promise that I have made to myself, that I continue to go to when something fails, when something goes wrong, or I'm not feeling good. I can come to myself. And also, it made me think of, this is why it's so important to make sure that you're around people who are safe, which goes back to love and relationships, right? And that I'm so happy that we talked about that.
Exactly.
To be aware, because let's just say I make my own decisions and I fuck up all the time.
There's people
there's people who might not accept that.
Yeah.
And
or
he's accepted
they'll
all of that.
constantly remind you.
Yeah.
Instead of saying, hey, it's okay. It's not a big deal.
Yes.
It's not a big deal. It's supposed to. You're supposed to fall. You're supposed to make mistakes. Like, why should I, when you make a mistake or when somebody makes a mistake, make somebody else feel worse?
Yes.
We're here to encourage. We're here to
encourage, support,
to
love,
be
accept.
The good vibes. That's how I like
vibes.
to say it.
Yes, that's his motto.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So with that said.
Oh, before we go.
Yeah.
What is a vow or promise that you have made to yourself, and when did you what was the unconscious promise that you made to yourself, and what was a conscious promise that you've made to yourself?
See,
because he started his journey.
I started very, very, very young.
Very young.
It was at 8 years old, and
that's insane.
I based all my decisions. The vow that I made to myself was that I was gonna make sure that my family was gonna be okay.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about little mini-me's and other people. I'm talking about intermediate people that my mother, my father, and my 3 younger brothers. And I actually made it happen. I actually made it happen. And
yeah, because you're basing your
traded off
of that. Yeah.
And I sacrificed, different lifestyles, childhood, and it was worth it. It was worth it because the immense proudness that I feel that I kept my word and my bond is just a feeling that, I'll pin it this way. When you feel happiness, when you feel that high, imagine feeling that consistently, not every once in a while, not every few days, not just for a few moments, here and there. I'm talking about every day, where you feel that in moments throughout the day. Because obviously we're going to feel down during the day, every single day.
Yeah, there's moments.
I'm not going to sit here and tell you it feels great the whole day. No. But I do feel great a majority of the day. And it comes down to, I kept my vow to myself. I kept the vow and my word to what I had promised. Other ones that I've made, I'll share if you ask. If you ask.
Yeah.
I wasn't even going to answer this one.
I know.
Because I was going to mention, hey, if you want to know, just put it in the question and I'll create a video. We'll create a video and I'll answer.
Yeah.
But normally I don't voluntarily answer.
Yeah, and this is one of the things that you do for your own filter to make sure that you're around a safe environment and around people who actually care and have the space to listen.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
So one last thing. So you're saying when you made that decision, that promise to take care of your family,
yep.
Was that something unconscious because of someone, like an example, or was that you consciously said it at a young age, or you didn't realize that was a conscious vow that you made until later on?
No, I knew it right when I made it. I knew it right when I made it because just like many families, parents bicker, parents argue. And I'm not talking about once in a while. It's every single day. When you're a kid and you realize that money is scarce, when you realize that the living situation that you are in isn't similar to a majority of the friends that you're around, it's tough to realize that and then actually, okay, this is where we're at. I'm gonna make sure all my decisions are pushing my family forward and giving me the best odds and chances to be able to set myself up in a career or athletically to pull us out of the situation that we were in. So literally all my decisions, I would always run it in my head is this right for all of us?
Yeah.
And that's the question I would always ask myself. And that's what I would suggest when you make your vow, when you make your promise or promises, that when you start to make decisions, like, for example, parents always, I know, they always, is this good for my kids?
Yes.
Is this good for my kids? So, fortunately, that's being a parent, but at the same time, it is super stressful. It's super, super stressful because you put so much energy and you put so much love and you have so many emotions that are wrapped up in your kids. And when they don't listen or when they disappoint you, it
feels like
it shatters and rocks the foundation of, am I really doing what's right? Is this really worth it? So I get it. But that's where you resolve. That's where your word becomes even stronger.
Yeah.
If you keep with it.
Yeah. And I'm also hearing you said the best for all of us, including yourself. So I feel like there's a part of your vow where you had to make sure that you were
no.
And
see, and that's the thing.
Or that was until later.
That's the thing. I didn't even realize, I wasn't even thinking about me. Didn't even think about me. But the magic that happened was what I chose to do actually made me feel proud about me every single day. And that's the difference. See, I was practicing self-love every day. I just didn't know it.
Yeah, and what was that?
Working out.
Working out.
I was working out every single day. And for most people,
and you didn't know
they don't like working out. They don't love the sweat. They don't love the pain. Unfortunately, or lucky for me, I loved it. And it made me feel proud about myself. It made me develop and form my identity for myself.
So that was the unconscious vow that you had already made. The conscious vow that you made was to take care of your family.
Yeah, that was the one. That was the only promise I made. And luckily for me, self-love fell in line with that.
Yes, so that's why we are here, because some of you guys may have made vows again to other people, and yours was to other people, but you didn't know that subconsciously you were already making a vow to yourself that was to work out every day. So with
No, it was unconsciously.
Unconsciously. Oops, unconsciously, you were already exercising every day.
So I was fortunate.
So,
I was fortunate that it went in line. It went in line.
So with that said, that's why we are here talking about promises, because we are going to make that promise to ourselves. We're going to reflect on what promise we have made and what we are making today.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Always love everyone. Please, please, please. This is the Quick Queen for the win. Keep spreading your good luck, good vibes. Keep spreading that smile. Be kind to yourself. Take it easy. Stay magical.
All right. See you guys on day 9.
Ciao.
Bye.